you can't deny that there's fruit in the family legacy. And I think that's encouraging because things don't have to be perfect for a multi-generational legacy to happen. But I'd just love to hear either of your thoughts on that and encouragement to others that are trying to do that. And maybe they have a broken past and mistakes in the beginning with when their children were around and so forth. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, it was funny because remember we just saw something about Dad saying, it's the little things you do that can make a legacy. It doesn't have to be as grand as my family obviously has been on TV and done some bigger things, and they like to speak. I hate it. I hate speaking in front of people. I can't, they think it's the funnest thing ever, and it's I'm gonna get up and talk in front of 10,000 people. I'm like, that's a nightmare for me. I've done it, and I get super nervous, and it's like I don't think that's my calling. I will do it because I'm not ashamed of the gospel, and I will tell my story. But oh,
Right.
it's tough. So I mean, I'm not called to be a preacher or anything like that, which is I'm totally fine with that. I was like, there's other ways we can write books and do even smaller things than that. It's helping my community and just helping people to see Jesus and to help kids. I do feel like that is a calling, and it's something you know since we adopted that, and now I work with AGCI. It's like I love doing that. I love shining a light on kids. I think if we could help the kids around the world, we can change the world. It's not about politics and all this other stuff. People think I'm like, no, it's kids. Helping kids who've been through trauma and stuff like that, like that can change the world. So
But
that's
Jeff,
what.
but Jeff, what a lot of people, you see Christian families go up and the kids go wayward. They don't come back to the Lord, and you see these fragmented families and so forth. And I guess what are some things that your parents did right once they got on track with the Lord and their marriage was stronger and these kinds of things? What do you think are just a
I
couple
mean,
things that turned it
for
around?
sure, just staying in the Bible and just realizing that it is the supreme word on all things. I always tell people I learned so much from my grandmother. I was basically a human trolling motor. We'd go fishing. I had a paddle, and I'd paddle around, and I'd bait her hook, and she would catch the fish. I'd get them off her hook for her. I mean, I was a little kid. Like I probably should not have been doing this, but I was. And she would tell me about life and like what's marriage like, and she would tell me about like when she went through the Great Depression. I mean, I just learned like I think that's how you can really impact your family is like let them know what all you've been through and how God has
Been faithful.
guided you through your story. So it's really just being a mentor for your family, and then I mean that's it. That's really all you have to do. I mean, you don't to make a big impact on your family as far as legacy. It doesn't have to be these big grand things. So.
That's
Well, yeah, your
encouraging.
first ministry is in your home. And so, but also on the other side of that is we've had these conversations with our kids. I'm like, there's times where they thought a little different. They were hearing certain things and they were like, well, maybe that's right. But ultimately I said, the gospel and ultimately it's you and Jesus. It's not me, you and Jesus. I wish I could do it. I wish I could go through a checklist and do everything right and get all my people right into heaven. But it's not me, you, and Jesus. You have to own your faith. And, that's something even Jep talks about when growing up in a Christian environment. But then he had to kind of go out and he had to see Jesus for himself. He had to be called himself. And so, same with me.